Good evening, welcome. Once again, it's Formula 3 Wednesday. Tonight it's from Adelaide. Now, regular viewers might remember that we did Adelaide quite recently, but it was the modern version of the track, and tonight we're at the 1988 version, which is quite significantly different from the version we raced last time. So, qualifying has just started. Once again, it's going to be a 45-minute race. Means everybody will have to do a pit stop because fuel will not last for 45 minutes. Tyres might too. Hard to tell, but regardless, they're gonna have to stop. So as quali's just starting, let's roll the intro video. Go and say hello, everybody. Teams. Hello, boys and girls on TeamSpeak. We're live to the masses.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Masses.
The masses.
Or you wait, because there's gravity as well.
Yes.
Philippa masses.
Yes, the Philippa masses, yes. 12 million of the masses are watching us right now. Quali's just started, just a 15-minute qualifying session tonight. Oh, I've forgotten to turn on the game audio. Viewers will be wondering why they cannot hear any of the cars. There we go. Yes, 45-minute race. What's our damage set to? 35% damage tonight. 15 minutes worth of qualifying. And the rest is all as you'd expect. Most of the aids are disallowed apart from auto clutch, auto blip and auto lift.
What are you doing behind me, Dan?
This is my space.
Oh, your space, is it? Okay, cool.
So Craig Patterson in practice, I think, was the only driver to sneak into the 125s. Was that correct, Craig?
Yes.
Thank you. Well, we're riding with you, Craig, as you're on your out lap, and it looks like the track map for once on Dinhad is working. So rather than just the cars disappearing randomly and reappearing, which is what they usually do, tonight it appears that they're actually staying there for the whole way around the track. We've got Williams F1 team fan has joined us and is watching, which is appropriate, Craig. Simon is with us to see your hot lap. We're going to be riding from the driver's viewpoint to maximise the immersion. Just, well, not sure if you call them corners, a little jink left, a little jink right, and then the final corner onto the start-finish straight. This will actually be the first time I have followed a driver around the circuit, so be an eye-opener for me a little bit as well. As Craig heads down, the start-finish straight, kicks the back end out, maximising straight line speed as he can. Down towards the familiar chicane that is also on the modern version. Very tidy and smooth through there. The jink left and into the heavy braking zone. This so far is all the same pretty much as the modern version of the track. We then have a left-hander and the right-hander, but I believe this is where it starts to get a little bit different. Fast left, jink right, braking down, and then we're on to the back straight of the circuit. There is a jink right. I'm not sure how much Craig has to lift to this. 120 miles an hour, a little lift down to 107, 108, wide over the curbs. Not sure if he'll get a track violation for that. Hopefully not. He's got Steve Kennel on the inside, but he's already lifted to allow Craig through. Good, sensible driving there, Steve. Thank you very much. Craig braking heavily into the hairpin. Now we're back onto the same kind of corners that you will see on the modern version, I believe. Maybe not. Yes, it is. They're slightly different. The speeds are higher. Last, which is where we picked Craig up at the end of his outlap round the last corner. Looking fairly tidy for Craig Bartz-Veronk. He's currently in pole position with the 126.8. Will Craig sneak pole away from him? He does with the 126.3. Now, as I say, we know Craig can get into the 125s if he gets all those sectors joined together just the way he wants. But nonetheless, a very nice lap from Craig. Thank you very much, Craig, for keeping your nerve, sir. We've got Craig's actually muted me, I can tell. That's why he's not responding. He didn't want the distraction as he was focusing. A few people on TeamSpeak saying hello. Andy saying hello. Hello, Andy. Pat is here tonight. Hey, Pat.
Thank you.
And Simon is obviously here as well.
No problem.
Let's see, Bart Zonk's just coming out, so we'll leave Bart Zonk alone for the moment. Dan O'Neill is out on track. Let's find out where Dan is. He's gone through he's about midway through the second sector. He's weaving, he'll be warming his tyres up, so Dan's not on a hot lap. Let's see who else we can pick up. Thomas Lankinen, I can find Thomas if I need to. Always the man to bring some excitement to a race. Thomas Lankinen just starting a hot lap, I believe. We'll go trackside with Thomas. A little bit of a lock up into that corner. Looked like the front, inside front tyre there. Hopefully that won't have been flat spotted, but that was nice and tidy over the curbs.
Yellow flag.
Now this is it is a street circuit, but despite that there's quite large runoffs with the way the rumble strips have been placed on a number of the corners. So with a little luck, we won't see too many drivers exiting the race due to damage. We saw your lap, Craig. Very nice indeed. Oh, 25.6. We didn't see that one, sir. Well done. Yes, Craig's just put in. Well, I think that's probably your fastest so far from practice. Yeah. Craig mentioned that all his best sectors added up to a 125.6, and that's the time he's just managed to post. 125.654. That is going to be quite a time to beat. Bart Zonk currently next to Craig on the front row of the grid, but yeah, over a second margin from Craig and any of the other drivers at the moment. Thomas Lankinen then going around the last corner. This was not a hot lap, maybe got caught up with a bit of traffic, but we'll stick with Thomas for one more. And get the driver's viewpoint from just above and behind the driver. Gets a better view of the track, very tidy and smooth over the curbs there. How late will leave the braking into this sharp right-hander. No lock up this time, that's nice and tidy. Keeping off the curbs here. These F3s really don't like the unsettling that the curbs give. On the exits, some of the curbs are a little bit smoother, but it's the apexes on almost every corner that you really don't want to be touching, as Thomas does just clip the inside, but he keeps the car under control. Out onto the start of the back straight, a little jig right, taking it about 100 miles an hour. Just over for Thomas, 107. That was very smooth indeed. And then we're onto the rest of the back straight, and braking heavily into the tightest corner on the circuit. There's no traffic that will be getting in the way of Thomas on this lap, we hope, although James Grant wasn't the quickest through there, but I think we've got enough space. James Grant also heads down towards that start finish line. A little bit of a slipstream maybe. James Grant pulling over generously. That's very kind of James, letting Thomas through. Thomas maybe picked up a little bit of a slipstream. Counteract any effect. Just catching up that other driver. Around the last corner. I should think we'll see an improvement there. The first lap from Thomas, I think, got caught up by traffic. Yes, indeed. I thought it was a tidy lap. And Thomas almost a dead second, my word, as the car spins in front of him as he goes through that first chicane. But Thomas almost a dead second behind Craig Patterson. He takes second place away from Bart Zonk, 1/10 or 1.5 tenths ahead of Bart in third place now. A very nice lap from Thomas, and a bit of exhilaration as he flat out through the chicane with a car spun and stopped dead on the left hand side. Who else is out on track? Steve Kenwood's up to fourth place. A great lap from Steve. He's in the Ferrari lookalike car, the number 86, pretty much all over red with just white wings. Oh, I've given him the commentator curse as he exits the stage. Johnny Statharos there. He's in 6th place at the moment. This is towards the end of
this setup. Oh,
sorry, no, go. Sorry, don't want to interrupt you guys if you need to.
I was saying, yeah, thanks, Theo. It definitely is better, this setup.
Thanks.
Yeah, Johnny Statos just coming round the start now of the second sector. 127.3 is his best lap. 6 minutes now on the clock, so we're well over the halfway point in qualifying. We have 18 drivers. Oh, there's a big spin as you saw the effect there of the curbs on Johnny's car. He's lost his front wing and he's straight back to the pits. team will be quickly piecing his car back together and will be hoping to put another lap in. Edward Rocket now in the distinctive orange and blue. 8th place at the moment, 127.947 for him. Top speed currently recorded of 144 miles an hour. That's only half a mile an hour slower than Craig Patterson on pole position. So straight line speed looking very similar for Edward as it when compared with Craig Patterson in pole. Williams F1 team fan Simon says very good a lap. I assume that was from the one we watched, Craig, but also for the great 125.6 time that you set it.
Cool.
Hello, Simon.
Hello, Father. Where's my chassis?
Oh yes, tell us how your chassis, Craig. Craig, tell viewers what you race in real life.
Sorry, Paul. My bad.
What, that I wrecked my chassis?
No, tell us what you race, what car you race in real life.
I race a 250 supercars.
Supercart, indeed, and unfortunately, he had a collision with an obstacle, and
A granite wall.
a granite wall. Unfortunately, not like in the sim world, he can't just press escape and go back to the pits. His father has to fix his car for him. But I believe it's all in hand. A new chassis was required, and that funding has been found, and it's all in hand. I take it your dad's busy piecing it all back together again, is he?
No, he's waiting for it to be delivered.
Ah, waiting for the chassis to be delivered. Nonetheless, it was good to hear that it's all going to be back on the road, and obviously that you weren't hurt, Craig. We wouldn't want to miss you from sim racing due to any injuries.
Oh God, of course not. I can think of a few people who wouldn't mind me missing a few.
Yeah, there might be
again.
one or two. Okay, we're riding now with Steve Kenwood once again. Hoping this time to give him the commentator's curse.
Anyway.
You're not out, are you? Thanks for the heads up, Steve. We'll pick up, we'll keep an eye on the track map. We'll pick up on you a little bit later. Theo van der Brink is just coming round towards the start of what looks like a hot lap. Flipping the curves ever so slightly there. We briefly saw a little bit of dirt pick up on the tyres, but the centrifugal force has spun that off very quickly indeed as he heads towards the twisty section of the circuit. 127.8 is Theo's best lap. He's in the top 10, which is always nice to be. We'll be hoping just maybe steal another position or two. A bit of a gap though for him to try and pick up. It's 3/10 at the moment to pick up a place on Jean-Pierre Père in a 9th place. Half a second though would give him 3 if not 4 positions. So an eye on Theo. Oh, big slide. I think he controls it though. Oh, a scary moment for Theo. Yes, he's made it onto the straight. Watching him trackside. He's halfway through now the final sector.
Oh, shit. Shit.
What's happened, Paul?
Sorry, I thought you.
Sorry.
Paul clearly in some distress. Something going wrong with his car or with some sort of contact with another driver. Theo still heading round to the last corner, I think. Here he is on the approach to the pit entrance there, just on the inside. A little bit of smoke, but it looks tidy. Can he improve at all? 127.8 to beat 2 minutes and 10 seconds on the clock.
Oh, what? I get thrown back to deck top.
Oh no, you go say.
Why.
Oh, it's crashed. Just before you enter the game again, Theo, just turn down opponent detail or maybe number of opponent cars. That might have caused a problem. Right, sorry, Steve Kenwood then we were going to pick up on it. He is halfway through the second sector. He's coming around the little jig, the 100 mile an hour right hand corner, halfway along the back straight. He's got a very nice time indeed. He just needs, well, look at those times. Bart Zoink is 0.156 behind 0.156 ahead rather of Steve Kenwood. Thomas Lankinen is 0.154. So 2/10 would give Steve Kenwood second place, front row on the grid. Minute and 15 on the clock. He's going to get this lap and one more afterwards. He'll be trying his hardest to get that position improvement that he's after. Look at the track map. We can see Thomas Lankinen is out. He's coming. He's just coming towards the end of the first sector. Bart Zonk is remaining in the pit, so it doesn't look like Bart's going to be coming out. So Steve Kenwood down to the first chicane, very tidy through there, a bit heavy over the curves, but it looks like that was a good amount of speed carried through into the braking zone for the right-hander. Oh, four-wheel drift, but he keeps it all in check. A little bit of a wiggle of the back of the car, but he manages to make it through that corner. Great little bit of car control shown there from Steve Kenwood. You can see he is pushing the absolute limits. Little puffs of smoke coming up off the tyres as he locks up on that little twisty section there. Steve now entering onto that back straight. He's got a spinner in front of him, but that won't be any distraction. That was clear and out of his way. We're not getting Dinhud showing us any split times, which is a shame. Can't see if Steve's sector times are improving or not. Now he's on the back straight proper. Still just 1500ths would give Steve Kenwood, or 1600ths rather, would give Steve Kenwood second place. Front row on the grid, big lockup, didn't make the apex on that one, but it still looked fairly quick. I'm not sure this is going to be the lap that he wants though to pick up second place. Just one more corner prop to go, the last corner, and we will know for sure whether Steve will make it onto the front row. Thomas Lankinen has improved. His final lap is an improvement. He's now nearly half a second ahead, but Steve can still pick up a place, if not two, if he really does nail this lap. No, unfortunately not. Good try, Steve. Good try. So you're pushing the car as hard as you could there. Thomas Langton did an improvement just at the end to secure his second place. Bart Zoink was confident enough to remain in the pits and not worry about coming back out to keep hold of third. A confident man there, Bart. You didn't feel the need to come out and put in a last lap?
No. Ruined the last one and damaged the car, so
okay.
Didn't have the time to do another one. So
No worries,
not
no
very
worries.
confident, but
Well, it worked out all right. You kept hold of your third place. So there's a few drivers I think still out on track, but we will go through the standings now. Hopefully none of those orders will change too much. Craig Patterson got pole by just under 0.8 of a second. A really nice lap from Craig. I'm pretty sure that was the fastest one we've seen from him this evening in practice or quali. Thomas Lankinen joins him on the front row of the grid. Bart Zonk is in third. Johnny Stathios has sneaked into fourth. I said I don't think it would change much, but Johnny has taken fourth place off Steve Kenwood. Well done, Johnny, for a last ditched attempt there. Well done, sir. Steve Kenwood in fifth. Jean-Pierre Père in sixth. Manos Papangelou in seventh place. Dan O'Neill is in eighth. Ninth is Amadeo Fiorella. 10th is Theo van der Brink, holding on to his 10th place. We saw a hot lap from him. Edward Rocket in 11th, Lud Bertou in 12th, Jean Horbelt in 13th, Manuel Palacio in 14th. Matt Legale is side by side with Steve Legale. The Legale clan in 15th and 16th. Rob Milliken.
We want to be together.
Indeed. Well, hopefully you won't take each other out. There'll be enough team control to obey team orders and not make contact. Rob Milliken in 17th place, Paul Fenwick in 18th, and James Grant rounding off the races tonight in 19th place.
Enough to get to the end, I reckon.
How much? A tank and a tank.
No, a full tank for me does 39 minutes.
Hey.
A full tank for me does 39 minutes.
How long's the race?
45.
Okay.
40
How
and
much in the pit
50.
stop?
1.4 litres a lap I'm showing.
I'd say I'm putting 12 litres in. That's like 11 minutes, so it's more than enough.
$14?
12 for me.
That's
How much total fuel do we think is going to make the whole race?
52 then.
52. Between 52 and 55 will be plenty.
Yeah, I got 54.
Yeah, 27 and 27 for me, and that will give me a bit of a leeway.
Well, these cars normally safely do a 30-minute race, so we race 30 minutes if we don't want to decide that we're not going to enforce a pit stop, shall we say. 45 minutes today means they're going to have to stop, so about 12 litres, a full tank plus 12 litres. Is that what you were saying, Craig? Did I understand correctly?
Yeah.
What's the full tank, 100 litres?
40.
40, sorry. So,
They're going to have to refuel.
52 to 55 litres. Yes, 45 minute race in the F3s always have to do a pit stop for fuel, so you'll need a total of fuel in the region of 52 to 55 litres, depending on how how cautious you want to be and making sure you get to the end. Lots of messages on the chat. Good luck with the race from Pat. Patrick joined us tonight. Andy says, good luck, everybody. Tiger123, thanks for joining us, Tiger. Hey guys, he says, just got home and you've come to join us for the stream. It's very nice indeed. We've got 3 minutes of warm-up, of which half of it is already gone. So the race proper will be upon us shortly. Meanwhile, it's about time I advertise the drink that I'm drinking. You know, strangely enough, I'm yet to be sent a case of anything by the various brewers that I drink their beverages of. Tonight, it is Thirsty Ferret. Let's see who brews Thirsty Ferret. Brewed by Badger. Yes, it's spelled thirsty, as in F-U-R-S-T-Y, Thirsty Ferret. By Badger, brewed since 1777. So I guess it should be quite good by now. They've had enough practice.
At least it'll be
Not tried that one yet.
Well, let's give it I haven't actually had a sip myself. Should I mute my mic, or do you all want to listen to me drinking beer?
No, let's hear you slurp.
Okay.
Let's hear all the
Here we go.
noises that you make
Chug,
in real
chug,
life.
chug, chug, chug.
Down in one.
Down in one.
Boat race.
Oh, that's a very tasty beverage. Not too strong, only 4.5%. So you can have a couple of those without getting too wobbly.
Give me a pint per lap.
Pint per lap, is that what we're doing? I better go to the off licensing, so this is the last one. I've emptied my fridge. So, the clock for warm-up has just counted down to 0, so the server will roll over shortly. Patrick is drinking American cream soda. Is American cream soda anything like cream soda, which I know as a kid, which tasted a bit like, maybe, best way I can describe it is maybe bubble gum as a drink? I don't know, cream soda. Patrick, let us know in the chat if American cream soda is anything like British cream soda.
We mean anything like it's nasty, you mean?
Yes, well, I kind of quite liked it, but it is an acquired taste. Yes, Patrick says it's probably, yes it is. It's probably the same stuff. So we've got 1 minute worth of countdown. And yes, indeed, it's going to be. Well, haven't got quite as many drivers tonight as we have had on some events, which maybe, given that first chicane, is a good thing.
Yeah, but you didn't have turn 1 like this.
Yes, indeed. So it is 45 minutes, guys. Don't throw it all away in the first lap or the first corner. Give each other a bit of space. Let's have some good racing. 25 seconds for you to finalise your pit strategies. Fill up your fuel tanks and make decisions about how many tyres you might want to take.
Or
it is an option.
The whole race on 3 wheels.
3 wheels, yeah, that will save tyre wear on 1, which means you'll save probably about 6 seconds in the pits, Edward. Good strategy, like it.
He gets it.
Okay, so the formation lap will start. We can now get our car. There we go, we're watching Craig Patterson. Let's switch the camera and watch the car stream into the approach of that turn 1. Thomas Langton, Bart Zverink there. Steve Kennewood in the all-over red car. Dan O'Neill in the black and red. Theo van der Brink in the orange. Edward Rocket followed by various other drivers that I can't get the names of because you're driving too fast. Slow down. Craig Patterson then leads the field around. I have to say, I do like the trackside cameras that come with Adelaide. Craig, no,
Yeah,
no,
what? Yeah,
no crash, Craig.
I was testing the limit.
Testing the limit, seeing what want to know what the car handles with the kind of on the marbles and with dirty tyres. Yep, good strategy. Good strategy.
Yeah, that was exactly what I was thinking. Yeah.
Well, Patrick says he says he needs more time. He's not really fully feeling it, and he hasn't got the confidence to race. Oh, Patrick, you should race anyway. I have to say, personally, I find the Formula 3s tricky, which is why I've ended up doing the commentating. But yeah, come and join us for any other race that you like, Pat.
Definitely
Marcus,
get in with us,
the Marcus.
Patrick.
If you didn't race, did Patrick race yesterday with us? I thought he was with
Yes,
us
he
yesterday.
did.
I thought so. Yeah.
Patrick,
The Marcus
gotta
is
learn sometimes,
quality.
Yeah, come on in, man.
Yeah, the Marcus is a quality race. As you know, Pat, because you were with us yesterday. The Vintage, if you had to go at those, not sure if you're with us on Monday, Pat, they are a tricky beast. So not surprised if you raced those that you found those a little difficult. But yeah, Marcas, the MCR 2000 that we're doing tomorrow, that's a nice little car, easy to catch on when it drifts or slides. So yeah, if you've got some free time, maybe join us in the MCR tomorrow. Turgo123, if you're thinking of driving, I'm not sure if you race with Race Department or not, but yeah, if you want to come and join us with the MCR 2000, become a premium member if you're not already, and you can come and join us tomorrow. Quite a few sign-ups I think we've got for tomorrow. I haven't checked, but I think we're in double figures, so that should be a good race as well. As the drivers now approach the grid, start to form up. Craig Patterson in his grid position. Thomas Lankin there pulling up adjacent to him on the front row. Bart Zerink just behind. Johnny Stathos, he's in 4th place, sneaking that off.
Good luck, guys.
Steve Kenwood
good luck, everybody.
last ditched effort. Yes, good luck everybody, take it easy. 45 minutes, you want to have 45 minutes of racing, not 30 seconds, and a lot of time in the pits. And the cars disappears, the game decides how many to show me. Okay, the lights are starting to come on. There's 1, there's 2, and they're out, so they're out. Craig Patterson lights on the rear tyres, a little jink to the left, there's action in the background, but everybody seems to be moving as it stands. Bart's very not quite on the inside, so Craig Patterson holds on to 1st place. Bart Zerink stays in 2nd. Thomas Lankin, up to 2nd with Thomas Lankin, and down to 3rd. We're now going to switch quickly to the rear wing if we get the right camera of Craig Patterson. There we go, looking back now at Bart Zerink. Thomas Lankin lost 2nd place to Bart off the line, but it looks like most people so far have made it through fairly cleanly. Yeah, that's looking good, all the cars fairly evenly spread out, so that's good to see that nobody, not too much collision action on the first few corners.
Oh, behind me, oh, big crash.
Big crash.
No. Now we managed to switch to live split times on. Is good to see. So Craig Patterson pulled out a little bit of a gap as Johnny Stathos has a little jink to the inside that's fixed the camera there. Did Johnny make it through? No, he didn't. So he remains in 4th place. Steve Kendall still in 5th. Dan O'Neill behind him. A good start by Dan O'Neill. Theo van der Brink has picked up a place as well. He is up into 9th place. Switching now to the rear wing of Bart Zerink as we come towards the end of the first lap. The tyres will be up to temperature now. Oh, a little bit of contact there by Johnny Stathos. I'm sure that was unintended. Thomas manages to control it, and the guys manage to keep going on that lap. Excellent car control there for Thomas. As Johnny just locks up ever so slightly, trying to wipe the speed off. Getting a little bit of lag here. That's why the cars are hopping around all over the place, but that seems to have sorted itself out now. I'm also seeing views quite a lot of dropped frames, so let me know if the video quality has dropped off. I'll see if I can adjust those settings. Seems to have settled down a little bit now. So we're following Thomas Lankin. He's got Johnny Stathos just half a second behind, and Steve Kenwood is very close behind Johnny as well. So Johnny trying to apply pressure to Thomas, make that position up, but he has to be careful. Push too hard, a little mistake, and Steve Kenwood is there, ready to pounce.
Mr. Warfare.
Bart Zerink defending there against Thomas Lankin. Thomas Lankin has a look on the inside. The back end steps out. My word, that was a nice bit of car control once again from Thomas as he keeps that car pointing in the right direction. So easy to put these into the wall on street circuits. And Thomas manages to keep the nose of the car out of the concrete. And he's tucked in very close behind Bart Zerink, so we're going to switch to Bart Zerink and his rear wing as we see Thomas Lankin pulling to the inside. He backs out of that. He didn't quite have the overlap. That was a wise move, I think, for Thomas in the early stages of this race. Keep that pressure on Bart Zerink, but no point in throwing it all away. A little bit of smoke from Thomas. Didn't quite make the apex, and Johnny Stathos has picked up a few tenths or two and is now just within a second of Bart Zerink and a few tenths behind Thomas Lankinen. looking back on using the track map and looking back through the grid. 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th looks to be a quality battle as well. We're just going to stick with this battle for 2nd place for the moment though, but 5th is Dan O'Neill. He's got Steve Kenwood close behind, Jean-Pierre Père and Manos Papangelou all in that battle, and Theo van der Brink is in that as well. Those 5 drivers, I think, all getting involved as once again Bart defends. Thomas goes for the outside as they approach the hairpin. Side by side. Oh, it's going to be close. Can Thomas go around the outside? If he does, that is a very impressive move. I think he's managed to hold on to it. Wow, that was a really nice overtake from Thomas Lankinen. Goes on the outside in the hairpin. Bart Zoink. Oh, he's forced on the outside. Johnny Stathios taking the opportunity as Bart and Thomas have battled. Has meant that Johnny Stathios can get some momentum going, and he makes his way up to 3rd place. That's a real hard thing to take there for Bart, losing 2 places in a few corners. But that battle is not going to be over. He's still very much there. Less than 4/10 separating these 2 drivers. As we see Bart Zoink weaving around in the back of Johnny's car. Johnny outbrakes himself. That will gift the position back to Bart Zoink, I think. Yes, it does. Johnny just deciding there to avoid any form of contact with Bart Zoink. A good decision. And Dan O'Neill and the gaggle of cars behind Dan have been able to close back up as the pace of Thomas Lankinen and Bart Zoink and Johnny Stathios slowed ever so slightly as they battled over 2nd place. Let's move a little bit further back then. I'm going to ride now from the driver's viewpoint of Dan O'Neill. Oh, that's not actually happening. That was a big bit of lag. Apologies, viewers, once again. Network lag appearing there for a moment. Johnny Stathios pulling side by side ahead with Bart Zoink. I don't think Johnny's going to get it. He tries to, and you can see the difference in speed that Dan O'Neill is able to carry through that corner, as he has not been forced to go too wide on the approach. Johnny makes that pass happen. I'm not sure if Bart had made his way past. Johnny is now back in 3rd place. Bart Zoink tucked in behind. Dan O'Neill, he is going to be hoping for a mistake, and there is one by both drivers running wide. That is a gift to Dan O'Neill. He sneaks his way up into 4th place, closing rapidly on Johnny Stathios. And can you see Steve Kenwood in that Ferrari lookalike car? He is also now into the battle, and this is a bit of a gift, I guess, for Thomas Lankinen and for Craig Patterson. Craig out in the lead. He is 5 seconds ahead of Thomas Lankinen. Thomas has managed to pull out about a 2-second gap over Johnny Stathios, who is now in 3rd place. I'm going to switch to the rear wing of Dan O'Neill if I can get the right camera. Apologies, viewers, we have to cycle through the various camera options. But Zoink late on the brakes there. I think he could tell that there was a risk of contact, and he just backs out of that corner a little bit. Gets a little bit wild, but still pointing in the right direction. Oh no, there's a big spin. Just as I say that, the commentator curses several drivers, but Johnny Stathios has spun. Matt Legale, I think, possibly, not trying to see the names.
I got through.
You got through, thank you, Matt, for the heads up. A couple of drivers spinning there. Johnny Stathios certainly one of those. Bart Zoink was one of the drivers that spun as well. Not sure what happened, whether it was just individual spins. And
individual, yeah.
I think so, just on a distraction of a car spinning, putting
rear tyre is too hot, so
1 or 2 other drivers off their line as well. So this is good news for some and bad news for others, because Dan O'Neill now is able to... Sorry viewers, I just pressed the wrong button and couldn't hear the game audio. Dan O'Neill now is able to push forward, hopefully try and catch up to Thomas Lankinen. Steve Kenwood is got a little bit of clean space as well. Craig Patterson has just set the fastest lap time. I didn't see what that was, but he is comfortably out in the lead at the moment. So now that battle for 2nd, which involved I think 4 or 5 drivers in total, has settled down ever so slightly, we're going to move a little bit further down the field. Manos Papangelou now has got Johnny Stathios. Johnny was in that fight for 2nd place. I think Johnny even had up to 3rd place for a moment before his spin, but now Johnny is looking to find his way back through the field. That spin will have been frustrating, but nonetheless he will have a lot of fun fighting his way back to the field. Who's saying their tyres are cooked? Getting some information over the radio. Manos saying his tyres are cooked, and he's got Johnny close behind. There's a spinner in the background. That Manuel Palacios, I think, spinning in the background. Took a little bit of curb, unsettled the car. Johnny having a little cheeky little look on the inside, but Manos will know that he hasn't got the overlap on him yet, so they remain in the same order as they were. Manos in 8th, Johnny in a 9th place at the moment. Looking a little bit further back, we've got 10th place, that's Bart Zoink. As you well know, Bart was involved in that fantastic battle at the front of the field. He's now looking to make his way up through the grid. He's just, I think, found his way past Steve Legale, I think. So Bart's now up into 10th place. Now we're going to switch to 12th place, Rob Milliken. Rob is having what looks like a good go at trying to keep Lud Berto behind. Lud in 13th, Rob in 12th. Is only under a second, 8/10 as it stands at the moment, separating those two drivers. Keep an eye on them, see if Lud can either close that gap or whether Rob can extend it. A little mistake there from Rob, but nothing too serious. That gap is now hovering around the 8/10 to a second mark, so maybe Rob can pull out a little bit of breathing space and try and make progress back up to Steve Legale, who is in 11th place. Battle for 7th, thank you very much for the heads up. That is Jürgen Hobelt to Manos Papangelou. Manos just saying that his tyres were cooked, his rear tyres, but my word, look at the momentum he carried around the inside of Jürgen Hobelt. On the previous corner, thank you. So a mistake from Jürgen Hobelt meant that Manos had a great run down that back straight, and we all saw the momentum that he carried through on that overtake and into the braking zone. There's a yellow flag we're hearing. Thomas Lankinen, new fastest lap time for Thomas, 1:26.9. Fastest lap for him, taking that lap away, or fastest lap time rather, away from Craig Patterson. That gap between Craig and Thomas has closed ever so slightly. We're now down to about 4.5 seconds, I think, hovering around that point. Maybe Thomas can wheel Craig in slowly if he can keep those fastest laps going. We're going to switch to the battle now before 5th and 6th. This is Jean-Pierre Pere and Matt Legale. Get that rear wing. We're riding with Jean-Pierre Pere. We're going to go to the rear wing. There we go. Matt heavy over the curb there. Unsettled the guy. You can see it wriggling around as he got the power down on the exit. My word, Matt's car is looking very lively as it snakes around in the braking zone for that jink left on the straight. But he's got the slipstream of Jean-Pierre Pere. Is he going to jink to the inside? He does. Is there enough track to try and get the overtake? Certainly got the overlap. Jean-Pierre doing a great job of trying to hold on to the outside. A little wiggle from Matt Legale. Matt makes the move count, and Jean-Pierre did a great job of giving him space, but also doing his best to hold on to the position. So Matt Legale up to 5th, Jean-Pierre Pere in 6th. Jean-Pierre Pere managed to get into Matt's slipstream down that start-finish straight. He's later on the brakes, it seems. Matt gets the better exit though. And a little bit of breathing space just opened up ever so slightly for Matt Legale. About half a second now, that gap between 5th and 6th place. That gap opening up ever so slightly, so we're going to move back to 13th place. That's Ludberto. He has got Amadeo Fiorella close behind it, as well as Manuel Palacios. Manuel had a spin, and Amadeo Fiorella has a look on the inside. Ludberto, I think, is going to keep hold of the position as he's got the inside line for the next corner. Yes, he has. Ludberto managing to keep hold of 13th place, I think. No, sorry, apologies. Amadeo Fiorella has managed to move up past Ludberto, so Amadeo up to 12th, Lud in 13th, and Manuel Palacios now having a look at the back of Lud's car. Manuel, I say, had the spin early on. We just saw him in the background of one of the shots spinning. So he's attempting to make his way through the field a little bit. If you look at the track map viewers, just as these guys go 3 wide down the back straight, maybe don't look at the track map, but look at the action on screen. A lock-up of the brakes by Johnny Snatharos there. Not sure what's going on with Johnny. He lost his wings. What's he doing back there? Maybe it happened to Johnny. He's back in 15th place and losing a few positions. Not sure if he's got damage.
Oh, big crash.
Ludberto also running slow. Not sure what's going on.
Also damage, Edward?
Yeah, that's the front wing
Yeah,
again.
your front wing is, I had the same. Only 13 seconds. With fuel
Oh,
and
well,
tires.
I've lost it twice and I'm a lap down on everyone now, so I've also had my game tab out twice, which meant that while I was being lapped as well, which meant I had no control while I had half the field going through. So this race is
that's
a
not
disaster
ideal,
for
Edward,
me.
is it? So something pop up and just switch the game, minimise the game.
For some reason, I've just on Automobilista. For some reason, it just at some point while the game's open, it will tab out. And then a minute later it'll tab out again, and then it's fine. And it just happened to happen while I was being lapped by everyone.
We're just riding with Jean-Pierre Père as Jürgen Horbelt gets a great one down the back straight, but Jean-Pierre's done a very late job of braking. And I think he's going to manage to hold on to it next to Jürgen Horbelt, the kick left, and then he'll have the inside line. Very nice bit of braking by Jean-Pierre to hold on to 7th place as Jürgen Horbelt certainly had the slipstream effect down that back straight and into the heavy braking zone for the tightest corner, the hairpin on this circuit. Jürgen Horbelt will have to wait another lap or two to try and find a way around Jean-Pierre. Jean-Pierre still holding on, 7th place. A little bit of lag there, guys. Why the car appeared to disappear off into the grandstand. Quite a bit of it. Hopefully that will sort itself out in a moment. So again, 13th place we've got a battle. This is This is Ludberto and Rob Milliken. Lud closing up under the braking. Oh no, I'm giving him the commentator curse. Apologies, Lud. Lud spins as he tries to make progress around Rob Milliken, but he's got that car facing the right way pretty quickly, and he's back out to racing. Paul Fenwick is the driver, next driver behind. He's picked up a few seconds, but there's still enough breathing space for Lud. Manuel Palacios then and Amadeo Fiorella, that is 11th and 12th place, just 6/10 separating those two drivers. And at the front of the field, Dan O'Neill and Steve Kenwood are probably the closest pair of drivers towards the front of the pack. They're in 3rd and 4th with approximately a second or half a second separating the two. There's also a pretty good battle going on for 6th, 7th and maybe 8th.
Watch out, yellow flag.
No, I think, yeah, Jürgen Horbelt has just quit. So that was the battle for 8th, but he's just quit. Not having a good day, decided to go back to the pits. Steve Kenwood, have you just got into 3rd place?
I have indeed.
So Dan, I'm guessing, made some sort of mistake or
At the moment.
had a moment. So Dan O'Neill, catch that. Dan O'Neill dropped down to 4th place, 3.5 seconds now behind Steve Kenwood. Steve is managing to be consistent, keep those lap times reasonably good.
Don't say that.
Most importantly, keep things all rhythmical, shall we say, and keep his car pointing in the right direction. Now we do hope we give him the commentator's curse, because that's not what we want to do, because Steve's doing very well in 3rd place at the moment. Tuomas Lankinen is 10 seconds up the track ahead of him, and that gap is still hovering around the 4.5 second mark. We just switched to Tuomas now. Oh sorry, apologies, it's more like 5.5 to 6 seconds. My maths is not my strongest point, but yes, around the 5, sorry, gap between Craig Patterson and Tuomas I'm referring to, sorry Steve. Yes, around 5 seconds between those two, but 11 seconds between Tuomas and Steve Kenwood. So a lot of work to do for Steve if he wants to get up into 2nd place, but he's on a podium finish at the moment, and we're approaching the halfway point. 26 minutes left on the clock of this 45-minute race. We haven't given Craig much screen time at all because he's been out in the lead, keeping things very much under control. So we'll ride with Craig for a lap or two. 4.6 seconds now, that gap between Craig and Thomas. Craig's just gone past the first of the lapped drivers. That's Johnny Stathos, who has, I believe, pitted to have damage repair, I think, which is why he has been lapped already. And Thomas Langton will be attempting to do the same quite soon as well. I'm going to switch to that battle between 6th, 7th and 8th because it is pretty much the closest battle we've got right now. 6th place is Steve Legale. He's got Bart Zwarenk, who has done a great job of fighting his way back through the field, picking up those places that he lost when he span early in the race. It was about lap 5 or 6 when Bart span, as did a number of other drivers. But Bart has now fought his way up to 6th place, just 4/10 behind Steve Legale. Steve Legale get the greatest run through the corner, but he got the better exit, so he will hold on to 6th place for a little bit longer. Jean-Pierre Père has also closed in on the back of these two cars, battling over 6th place. Bart weaving around a lot and to the braking zone. Steve gave him enough space on the inside to have a look, but that will give Steve Legale the inside on the next corner. Now Bart will have to be careful because Jean-Pierre Père is there ready to pounce if Bart gets too aggressive is not the word I'm looking for, but too active in trying to find his way past Steve Legale. A little mistake could then gift that position to Jean-Pierre Père, just a few tenths behind Bart Zwarenk there in the deep blue and white car. Well, Matt Legale has left the game, so sorry to see that. Matt, if you're still on, what happened, sir?
Yeah, I went in for my pit and there was no pit box.
There's no pit
So I had
box?
to drive through.
Oh,
Yeah.
no, yes. Well, it just didn't appear, or it was not one of these ones. I'm sure, maybe I did it, I'm not sure if it's at Adelaide, but where it's actually right at the start, but it's so tucked away you don't see it. I think I've done that on a track
Possibly.
or two. But yeah, as soon as you do it, you kind of think, oh, great, that's just 40 seconds lost, and I've got to go around and do it again.
I'd crashed twice anyway, so it was...
No worries. Sorry to hear it's not been your race, Matt, but thank you for racing
That's all
tonight.
good. It was fun.
So Steve Legale has lost that position to Bart Zwarenk. So Bart up to 6th place, but he's still defending against Jean-Pierre Père. Looking at the track map, this is definitely the closest driver. So Jean-Pierre Père is a big spin. Can he keep it out of the wall? I don't think that was too much contact, Jean-Pierre. You've still got your front wing. It's still on there. Hopefully your car's still steering in the right way. It's not permanently turning in one direction or the other. All the wings are still intact. We're getting to the midpoint of the race though, so if he does need to pit, he'll be able to get that damage repaired without having to do an additional stop. As we get to that midpoint of the race, drivers who are still out there, still fighting to keep the car under control. Don't forget, if you had a little tap on the wall or a bit of contact with another car, make sure you turn off that damage repair if you're not having any noticeable difference in the car's handling. You'll only be spending 20... How do you do that? Was that what you said?
Yep.
Okay, so you request your pit stop, and if you've mapped the keys for changing which tyres and how much fuel, which you can change from the pit menu, then if you press your down arrow, then the damage repair is usually right at the bottom. If it's not there, then you have no damage to repair. If it is there, you can change it to disable.
I'm already in the pit, so...
Oh, okay, yeah, you have to do it before you go in. I'm sorry. You have to do it before you go in. Yeah, it's one of those things. You only do it well. You do it you end up forgetting quite often. But once you've done it once, you tend to hopefully remember on future times. That damage repair is a bit frustrating. And Jean-Pierre Père has got somebody in his pit box. Frustrating for Jean-Pierre Père. He doesn't lose too much time though, just a second or two.
I believe Thomas pitted.
Yes, I think Thomas had pitted. We just caught Bart Zwarenk in the pits as well. Jean-Pierre Père is in the pits. Craig Patterson is yet to pit. He now has a nice healthy lead of over 22 seconds. Dan O'Neill, can you Can you give us a heads up? Have you pitted, or you can keep it to yourself if you want, sir? I don't mind.
I don't think he has pitted, but I have.
Okay. Oh, Steve, you have.
Sorry, I
Thank
was
you,
at
Steve.
hairpin.
No problem.
Oh,
No
yeah.
problem. Oh yeah, thank you, Dan. Yeah, Dan O'Neill yet to come in. He's just 2.4 seconds behind Swamps Langton. The pit stop at Adelaide is very quick. Obviously, the tyre change and fueling of these cars doesn't take very long at all either. So Twams has pitted. Steve Kenwood has as well. Dan O'Neill is yet to pit. So keep an eye on Dan, because it will be interesting to see where he comes out in relation to Steve Kenwood after those pit stops and the strategies have worked themselves out. And spins, yes, you were behind, I think, yes, because that's right, Steve Kenwood had made his way past due to an error by Dan. Dan is looking to try and get those lap times back together. Maybe he's got a cunning stop strategy to try and find his way back past Steve Kenwood in the pit lane. 12.5 seconds the gap. I would think that he would need a few more seconds than that, but I'm not sure exactly how long the stop takes here at Adelaide.
About 8.
About 8 seconds, oh, not long at all.
Fuel
So
and tyres.
just the time it takes to get out of the speed restriction area. So it could be quite close. I would think Steve Kenwood will still come out in front, but they'll both have fresh tyres.
Yeah, I've got to be honest, I'm hoping for safety car.
You're hoping for a safety car?
Yeah.
Well, my admin powers are quite great, but I don't think I can throw the yellow, the full course yellow.
I'm in the pit.
Oh, thank you, Craig Patterson in the pits. 13-12 seconds now, the gap between him and Thomas like an 11-10. 9 seconds, Craig's on. Sorry, I spoke over you. Please say again.
Yeah, why Bart Zwerde gets behind me?
I'm out, guys.
He was fourth, I think, or third.
Bart spun early on, has been working his way back through the grid. I think he's also pitted, if that's Manos asking. So that will be why he's now closing back up behind you, Manos.
Yeah, because of the penalty of damage.
Yes, I think so. So Craig Patterson has completed his stop. He has got a gap now of just 4 seconds. So Tuamas seemed to have picked up a little bit of time by coming in earlier. Maybe a quicker stop, or maybe he just came out in some nice clean track, clean air, and was able to put a few good laps together. Dan O'Neill yet to pit. He is 8.5 seconds behind Craig Patterson, just 4 seconds behind Tuamas Lankinen. Now Dan seems to have extended that gap but a little bit, maybe no, still hovering around the 12-second mark. I thought it maybe had opened up slightly more. So 11.3 at the moment. I wonder if we'll see Dan pit on this lap. I don't see any activity from his pit crew though. It looks like he's staying out a bit longer. Oh, keeps a big spin, but he keeps it just facing the right way. Probably a bit of commentator curse there for Dan. Sorry, Dan. No, not again, Dan.
Right.
Sorry, Dan. I'm sorry. We'll go and watch. We'll leave Dan alone for a minute, let him get his composure back again. Manos
Don't you
Papangelou.
dare move to me.
No, I've moved to Manos Papangelou, who was just commenting about why Bart Zwerink was behind. Bart was ahead in the qualifying, but he had a spin early on, and he has. Manos, have you stopped already for tyres and fuel?
Yeah.
You've stopped as well. So
Damage.
both drivers have stopped, and Bart is attempting to close that gap. Bart in 6th place, 5.5 seconds behind Manos.
How much is the normal pit stop here?
How long does it take? About 8 seconds plus the time it takes to go down the start for the speed restricted area.
No, how much you actually stop in the pit crew?
About
Mine
8.
was 15 seconds, but I might have got damage. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, I was 15, so that's
Okay.
why-
So who was it? Steve Legale seemed to be saying it was only about 8 seconds, unless I misunderstood.
Yep, that's without damage. That's just fuel and
Okay,
tyres.
just fuel tyres. Thank you, Steve.
But Daniel O'Neill is close.
The Dan O'Neill is now just 2.4 seconds ahead of Manos Papangelou. That was some mistakes from Dan, allowing Manos to close in. Bart Zwerink, though, is picking the time up from Manos, though. Manos will be looking to try and find his way up to 4th place, but he'll have to be careful because Bart Zwerink is narrowing that gap ever so slightly, corner after corner. And Craig Patterson on fresh tyres has set a new fastest lap, 126.296. Sir Ropey in the chat says, "Evening, Nopkins." evening. So Roby, thank you for joining us tonight. We've got 18 million people tonight watching us. Just 16 minutes now left on the clock. There's a bit of a battle going on further down the field. That's Rob Milliken and Johnny Stathos, just half a second separating those two drivers. We'll switch to the rear wing of Rob Milliken. Johnny Stathos having a few big moments, and he has on more than one occasion been trying to fight his way back through the grid, or through the field rather, but nonetheless that can lead to some very exciting driving as you try and pick up drivers and get those tenths and hundredths out of the lap, close those gaps. Johnny having a very late braking look on the inside, little bit of contact, but they keep it all facing in the right direction. Rob Milliken, oh careful Johnny, careful. Yeah, both car drivers managed to make it through. A little bit later on the brakes for Johnny, I'm sure unintentional contact, but the positions remain the same. Rob in 10th, Johnny in 11th. Rob has outbraked himself. This will be a gift to Johnny Stathos. He's got the outside line, and despite that mistake, Rob seems to have the straight line speed as they scream down towards the hairpin, and Rob Milliken makes it through ahead of Johnny Stathos. Craig Patterson, these guys are going to have to be aware. Craig Patterson, the leader, is closing up rapidly on the back of this battle. They'll be focusing hard on the battle. Oh, there's a spin. Both drivers spin. Unfortunately, not sure exactly what happened. They rejoined facing the same direction and in the same order. So no real harm done. They've both got wings. Hopefully, both cars handling as they should do.
That helped me.
Yeah, you managed to come through quite cleanly, Craig. It was certainly has its advantages.
That's just our way of getting the blue flag by.
Johnny now going to the inside once more as they close down the straight. They're almost interlocked. Johnny not giving very much space at all to Rob Milliken. Maybe it was the camera angle, maybe Johnny was already ahead, it was hard to tell, but it certainly did look like these guys are having a great battle side by side, not giving each other any more than the inches of space that they require. And Johnny has made that move count. He's up into 10th place. Rob Milliken is now in 11th, but nonetheless they look like they're having a great battle there and enjoying every moment of it. We'll move back up the field because it's getting quite close now for Manos. Oh, Manos has made his way past Dan O'Neill. I'm not sure if Dan's pitted yet. I don't think so.
Made a mistake.
I made a mistake to Manos.
One of my winning chips to the barrier.
Okay, Dan. So Manos up to 4th place. Dan, I think, still to pit. Bart Varink losing a little bit of time. That gap was more like the 4 or 5 second mark, and Bart.
Lost my front wing.
Oh, you've lost your front wing, Bart.
Pushing too hard.
Bart, if that is Bart saying that, Bart, you still got your front wing on your car from where I'm looking at.
No.
Oh, it's just gone. It's just removed it. The wonders of Automobilista. A delayed removal. Yes, you definitely have not got your front wing, sir. It's just taken it off. We saw it vanish a few seconds after we said it was still there. So Bart's into the pits, a little bit of damage for him, has to pit, get that front wing put back on. Just 13 minutes left on the clock. I suspect Bart will come out somewhere in the region of Amadeo Fiorella, or maybe Johnny Stathos. That's 9th and 10th. The front wing is back on the car. Not sure if he'll be taking tyres as well. He's down off the ramps. Jean-Pierre Père about to come through, then it'll be Amadeo Fiorella. He's on the move. Amadeo will be through. Johnny Stathos the next. I think he's going to come out behind Amadeo Fiorella, but ahead of Johnny Stathos. So down to 9th place for Bart, but still 12 minutes on the clock. There's plenty of time for Bart to try and find his way back up a few places. So Manos Papangelou, we've talked about him a lot, but we haven't watched him for many laps. He's been consistent enough to steadily pick away at those positions. He's up into 4th place. Just looking at the split times there, Craig Patterson still around 7 seconds ahead of Tuomas Lankinen. Steve Kenwood a further 10 seconds behind Tuomas. So those 3 drivers pretty much just going around in their own little bit of track space. our DNFs have been quite high this evening. We didn't have as many starters as we often get in the F3s. Don't know whether that was just because people are busy. Maybe they didn't like the sound of Adelaide Street Circuit. I don't know. It looks quite a good race, but it clearly is quite a technical event.
I love it.
It's dangerous though, technical.
Yeah, there's not a lot of room for mistake at Adelaide, is there?
I'd certainly prefer it to the modern Adelaide.
Okay. Well, I can I remember.
But it's not that different, obviously.
I remember Adelaide 1988 from my driving days before I got back into online racing. Back with, I think it was Michael Pro's GP, which probably was around 1988 when they made the bloody game. Yes, I am going back a long way. That was my last bit of racing before. Yes, pretty much. That was my last bit of online. Well, it wasn't online racing, but a bit of racing before to whatever that was, 20-year absence, and then coming back to it in my middle age, shall we say. I guess 40 years is middle age. Time for more thirsty folk. Oh, sorry, Steve. You're only 21, aren't you, Steve?
Again.
Dan O'Neill is not letting go of Manasso. That gap is hovering around the 2.5 to 3 second mark, and Dan seems to be ever so slightly picking away at the tenths and closing that gap down to 2.4, 2.3 seconds now that they've made their way through that first chicane. If you look at the track map, we've got the red circle of the first place driver, that's Craig Patterson. He's just made his way past Bart Zwerink. Then we've got, I'm trying to see who that is. That'll be 10th place Johnny Stathiros with Thomas Lankinen close behind. So Johnny will be getting the blue flag. And Thomas, I'm sure, will be past Johnny quite soon. We have, then further down the track, we have Rob Milliken, followed by Ludberto. Both drivers keeping it going. Much respect to all drivers who managed to finish the race tonight. It certainly is a technical one. Steve Kenwood then coming through. He's in third place. Battle for 8th. Thank you very much. Yes, indeed, that's Amadeo Fiorella and Bart Zwerink. Bart came out of the pits after getting a new wing. Oh, I don't think he took tyres or anything like that, although he could have done
everything.
He took everything. But yeah, Amadeo Fiorella in 8th, holding off Bart Zwerink, but Bart came out about 3 or 4 seconds back, and he has closed that gap in about 4 to 5 minutes time. So
he spun twice in front of me, so yeah, that's why.
So 8 minutes left on the clock. Bart closing in on Amadeo. Amadeo takes the racing line. Bart's a little bit offline. That's Amadeus, yes. Good one though, Steve. Good one.
Allow me a little artistic license.
Okay.
Switch now to the rear wing of Amadeo as Bart Zwerink locks up the tyres. Bart desperate to try and find a way past, but so far he has yet to do so. He's definitely got the slipstream though. A little jink, but no move there into the first chicane. It is a very risky to try and overtake in that first chicane. The chances of both drivers making it through in one piece are small. I would think that one of them would at least be picking up a track violation, if not a visit into one of the many concrete walls around this circuit.
I think we'll rename Jink Knobs.
Jink Knobs? Yeah. Why, who I no, these guys are still battling. They've not hit any walls yet.
You like the word jink, don't you?
Jink, oh jink! I thought you said jinx. I think I was jinxing drivers. Jink, okay. I'll try not to use jink too much.
Don't worry about it.
I'm very concerned, Steve. I'm concerned that viewers will be upset by the frequency of jink being used as Bart Zwerink jinks to the outside as Amadeo defends, but can he go around the outside? He does do. That was a very brave move from Bart Zwerink, but he manages to make it stick, and Bart Zwerink now up into 8th place. He won't be jinking to the inside of Amadeo anymore because he has made his way past him. think I just turned my mic off by mistake.
I wonder why it went quiet.
Yes.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Yeah, you must be on the 4th or 5th pint by now.
Yes. No, I'm still. I only drunk about the first inch of my thirsty ferret, so so that's probably why things are not going as smoothly as they usually do. Not drinking enough. Trying to see where the battles are, but it's quite a big track, and with only 12 drivers left on the circuit, there are not that many close pairs of drivers. Now Steve Legale seems to be giving me so much grief, and I may as well have his opportunity at getting some commentator curse. He is in 6th place. His top speed 146 miles an hour for Steve, but one of the lower top speeds maybe not managed to get in as many slipstreams as some of the other drivers, but he has been consistent. He has held on to 6th place now for some time. Dan O'Neill's 32 seconds up the track. Jean-Pierre Père has been trying to apply that pressure and trying to make his way back up to the back of Steve Legale, but so far he is yet to do so. That is just a 3.8 or 4 second gap.
All clear.
I'm sorry.
The caution flag is out.
No problem.
Crash somewhere on the circuit.
Hello.
I crashed as well.
Oh.
Somebody calling to Charlie?
You, Craig.
Yeah.
Do I have a front wing or not?
Bart Zverick has Johnny Stathos just behind. I'm not sure how that happened. Presume Johnny made a mistake or something, but Johnny is just 6/10 behind Bart Zverick.
No.
What happened?
The guy behind ran into me, so we spun together.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry to hear that, Johnny.
No worries.
One of those things, just 4 minutes left on the clock, and nonetheless you get to battle away with Bart Zverick. Hopefully finish up with a good little battle towards the end of the last 4 minutes of the race. That gap opening up ever so slightly now, hovering around the 8/10 mark. Now next week we'll be coming from Spielberg, which I am reliably informed is the Red Bull ring of Automobilista. Is that correct?
Indeed.
Very much, Craig. Yes, Spielberg Grand Prix will be the venue next week. Should be a great race. Hoping we get a few more sign-ups. We had around 20 tonight. Maybe with the temptation of a great circuit, we'll get a few more drivers back into the F3s next week.
Will you be lending your voice next week?
I'll have to check my shift pattern, but I think I'm actually on leave. I'm meant to be doing gardening, but can't do gardening when it's dark.
Gardening leave?
Gardening leave, indeed. Well, gardening in the form of I do man gardening, which involves tasks like building walls and shoveling soil. I can't do that fancy gardening.
When you said shoveling something, I wonder what you were going to say there for a moment.
Yeah, I nearly did say what you thought I was going to say and stopped myself. There might be a bit of that kind of shoveling as well if I can get a delivery in the garden. But yes, shoveling something around the garden anyway. Now, Johnny Stathos having a look on the outside of Bart Zverick as they scream towards the hairpin. Bart Zverick doing a good job of defending, and Johnny will have to settle for remaining in 9th place for another quarter or two.
Mr. Kenwood, did you have a podium last race as well?
What was that, sorry?
Did you have a podium last race as well?
Not sure about the last F3. That was in the Caterham, wasn't it?
I can't remember.
Oh, you're making a habit of it, Steve. A bad thing. Steve Kenwood making his way through a little bit of traffic. He's just got Rob Milliken a little bit ahead. As there was one driver, not sure who that was, but both Bart Zverick and Johnny Stathos managed to make it past. Thomas spun, did he?
I spun.
Thank you.
But Thomas has got enough breathing space. He's got still another 10 seconds or so back to Steve Kenwood.
Damage.
You got damage. Oh, this is the last minute of the race. It's not what Thomas wants to hear. Now, will Thomas pit? There's going to be, I guess, 2 more laps. Will he pit? Yes, there's no front wing on his car. Will he pit, or will he try and stay out there and keep ahead of Steve Kenwood? If he pits, he's certainly going to lose the position to Steve Kenwood. Whether he comes out ahead of Dan O'Neill is another question. If he tries to stick it out there, well, he's losing a lot of time, and the front of the car almost lifting off the ground, maybe due to the lack of downforce. A big lock-up as he tries to wipe off the speed. The gap now between him and Steve Kenwood down to 5 seconds, 40 seconds on the clock. It's going to be an interesting decision for Thomas. Does he pit, or does he stay out there? I think Steve's going to catch him. The question is, if he pits, will he come out ahead of Dan O'Neill or not? Gonna do. He's pitting. Where will Thomas Lankinen come out? So Steve Kenwood up to 2nd place. Any moment now. Steve's on to the start of his trade. There he is.
Craig. You haven't done it for a few weeks.
Now 12 seconds, 10 seconds now the gap between Thomas and Dan O'Neill. The ramps are down. 7, 6 seconds, 5 seconds, 4 seconds. Needs to be on the move soon. No, Dan O'Neill is through as well. He's on the move, and the clock reaches 0 now. That is such a shame for Thomas Lankinen. He had a great race and held on to 2nd place for pretty much the whole of the race. At least 3/4 of the race he's been holding on to that position. The last moment, a momentary lapse in concentration, and he has lost 2 places. Nonetheless, still it will be a good finish for 4th place, 2.5 seconds ahead of Manos Papangelou. I'm just trying to work out whether if he'd tried to stay out on that lap, whether he would have held on to 3rd place from Dan O'Neill. In all honesty, I think probably not. He was losing.
Yeah, but I had the front wing under me or something. I couldn't steer the car.
Couldn't steer, yeah. I mean, so you were losing pretty much a second a corner, so I think you'd have probably been caught by Dan anyway. So yeah, pretty much half a dozen, 1 and 6 on the other, I think. But Manos has now closed up to just 8 tenths behind, but this is the last lap. Unless Manos can really pull something out of the bag, all it will require is for Thomas Lankinen to be consistent for this last couple of corners, and he will hold on to 4th place.
I'm on my last lap now anyway.
You're on your last lap, are you great?
Yeah.
With Craig Patterson, the leader, on his last lap. We're going to stick with this battle because it is pretty much the closest. Thomas just trying to get some heat into those tyres, and Manos closing up. We're just starting to pick up a little bit of the slipstream. You can see Manos doing his best to get the power down, but that's cost him a 10th or 2 as he wrestled with the car out of that last corner. Yes, 1 lap to go. This is the last lap, Manos. Always ignore crew chief. Crew chief will tell you 1 more lap to go, often a lap earlier than it actually is. So this is the last lap. The race is not over yet.
Last corner.
Thank you, Craig. We will move and catch the leader as he heads towards the start-finish line around the last corner. Can we get the camera to the start-finish line? Come on, camera. There it is, pretty much catching the start-finish line. Jean-Pierre Père will have another lap to go. Craig Patterson about to come over the crest of the hill. There he is, celebrating. He has finished the race. Congratulations, Craig. A great race for you. Let's move the camera up a bit. Now we can see Bart Zarink doing a celebratory spin. Johnny Statharos has also finished, as has Steve Legale. Steve Legale finishing in 7th place.
Well done, Craig.
In a little.
Cheers.
Next person over the line was Amadeo Fiorello. Good drive from Amadeo and Rob. Steve Kenwood across the line. A great drive from Steve. Claims 2nd place. A last-minute promotion from him due to an unfortunate mistake by Thomas Lankinen. Rob Milliken over the line. Ludberto, congratulations, guys. Well done for getting to the end. Battling the whole 45 minutes. Dan O'Neill over the line. 3rd place for Dan. A podium for him that he wasn't expecting. And Thomas Lankinen will be over the line shortly, closely followed by Manos Papangelou. Now Jean-Pierre Père will be the last driver to cross the line. He is finishing in 6th place. So those final standings, Craig Patterson wins comfortably. Steve Kenwood in second place, Dan O'Neill in third. Thomas Lankinen unfortunately loses 2 places in the closing moments, down to 4th place. Manos Papangelou in 5th. Jean-Pierre Père, who's about to cross the line, he's just approaching that last corner, we'll see him at any moment, is in 6th place. Steve Legele in 7th. Walter Zamek in 8th. Johnny Stathoff brings home 9th. A top 10 finish for Amadeo Fiorella, Rob Milligan in 11th, and Ludberto, the last of our drivers to make it to the end, in 12th place. Congratulations, guys, for sticking out to the end. That was a tough race indeed. Did you find it tough?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm sweating like a
full
pig.
sweaty.
I sweat every time.
So are you looking forward to Spielberg next week? I think that's going to be, I'm hoping it's going to be a bigger field, and hopefully mean that more of you will be involved in battles and a little bit less driving around on your lonesome. But we'll fingers crossed for that one. So yes,
Can
viewers,
we sign up yet?
I'll post it up shortly. It's not up yet. So viewers, join us next week. Think I will be commentating, so it will be streamed for the F3 from Spielberg Grand Prix. It's been a pleasure to have you watching. Thank you very much for joining us. Drivers, thank you very much for sticking with it, putting in 45 minutes of concentration and making it through to the end. Those of you that did, and those of you didn't, hopefully you'll still come and join us next race. Thank you very much for watching, everybody, and a good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good
Thank
night.
you, Jim.